The afternoon sun poured its golden heat over Umudike, a small town where poverty lingered like dust that refused to wash away. Children ran barefoot across sandy paths, women bargained noisily in the market, and hawkers sang their survival into the air. Among them was Adiz, balancing a basket of oranges on her head. She was 16, her faded dress clinging to her slender frame, her bare feet hardened from years of walking on the rough earth. Each step she took carried both weariness and determination. "Sweet orange. Come and buy sweet orange," she called. Her voice wasn't just a seller's cry, it was a melody of survival. Her father had died when she was only 10, leaving her mother to raise 3 children alone. School had ended for Adiz too soon. She had been one of the brightest in her class, but hunger silenced ambition. Selling oranges was her only chance at keeping her family alive. That day, fate painted a new scene. A sleek car rolled into town, drawing every eye. From it stepped Obinna Okeke, tall, well-built, with a confidence that spoke of years abroad. His clothes were simple yet elegant, his accent polished, his gaze curious as he surveyed the land he had left behind. The town buzzed with whispers. "Chief's son is back. He studied in London, they say. See how fine he has become." Adiz paid them little attention. She hurried past, clutching her basket. But in her haste, her foot caught on a stone and the basket tumbled. Oranges rolled in every direction. Laughter echoed. Before she could kneel to gather them, a shadow bent beside her. "Let me help you." She looked up and her breath stilled. Obinna was beside her, picking up oranges with gentle hands. His smile was disarming, his eyes kind. "Don't worry," he said softly, "I've got them." Adiz swallowed hard, her heart fluttering like a trapped bird. No one of his status had ever spoken to her that way. "Thank you, sir," she stammered. He chuckled. "Sir? Please call me Obinna. And you are?" "Adiz." From that moment, something invisible yet undeniable formed between them. In the days that followed, Obinna sought her out, buying her oranges not because he needed them but because he wanted to see her smile. They began to talk, by the roadside, under the shade of the udala tree near the stream. She told him of her dreams, of the books she still borrowed and read by candlelight. He told her of London, of opportunities, of skies that never went fully dark. They laughed, they listened, and slowly, love crept between their hearts like sunlight finding cracks in a wall. But not everyone smiled at their closeness. The market women began to whisper. "What business does Chief's son have with the orange girl? She should know her place." And soon the whispers reached the ears of Obinna's parents. The evening breeze of Umudike was gentle, but Adiz's heart was restless. She sat by the udala tree near the stream, waiting. She had been waiting every evening since the day Obinna helped her gather her scattered oranges. And every evening he came. When he arrived this time, Adiz noticed something in his eyes, an unspoken heaviness. "You look troubled," she said softly. He sat beside her, picking up a stick to draw idle lines in the sand. For a moment he said nothing. Then he exhaled. "My mother found out." Adiz's heart skipped. She didn't need to ask what he meant. What did she say?" Obinna's jaw tightened. "She warned me to stay away from you. She said you're beneath me, that loving you would bring disgrace to our family." The words cut deep. Adiz lowered her gaze, blinking back tears. She had feared this. She had always known their worlds were too far apart. "Maybe she's right," Adiz whispered, her voice trembling. "I'm just an orange seller. You're Obinna Okeke, son of the wealthiest man in Umudike. People will laugh at you, they already laugh at me." Obinna turned sharply to her, his eyes blazing with determination. He gently took her hand. "Adiz, listen to me. I don't care about what they say. I don't care about status or money. I care about you. You're the most genuine person I've ever met. With you I feel alive. Her tears fell freely now. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to drown in the warmth of his words. Yet fear clawed at her chest. Obinna, she began, but he silenced her with a gentle squeeze of her hand. I'll fight for us, Adiz. I promise. For a fleeting moment, hope blossomed in her heart. She leaned into him and for the first time, they held each other closely beneath the udala tree, the stars above like silent witnesses. But hope was fragile. That very night as Obinna returned home his father, Chief Okeke, was waiting. The old man sat in his wide armchair, his walking stick resting beside him, his face dark with authority. I hear you've been meeting with the orange girl, Chief said, his voice deep and steady. Obinna straightened. Her name is Adiz. I don't care what her name is. Chief thundered, slamming the stick against the floor. She is nothing. Do you want to throw away your future, your inheritance, your family's honor, for a hawker? She's not nothing, Obinna shot back, his voice rising. She's kind, intelligent, and honest, things money can't buy. And I love her. A heavy silence followed. Chief Okeke's eyes narrowed dangerously. Love? He repeated coldly. You think love will feed you? You think love will run this empire I've built? Listen well, Obinna. If you continue with that girl, you will cease to be my son. You will have nothing. Obinna's chest heaved, but he did not back down. He turned and walked away without another word. But behind the door, unknown to him, his mother whispered urgently to Chief Okeke. Something must be done. That girl must be removed, before she destroys everything. The days that followed were a whirlwind of whispers. Adiz noticed the stares in the market growing colder. Women who once bought her oranges now passed her by with mocking smiles. Even her friends grew distant. Something was shifting. One night as she and her mother sat in their small mud house, peeling cassava by lantern light, a knock came at the door. It was harsh, demanding. Her mother stiffened. Who could it be at this hour? When Adiz opened the door, 3 men stood outside. They were tall, broad-shouldered, their faces half hidden in the shadows. She recognized one of them immediately. Hugo, Chief Okeke's most feared guard. We need to talk, Hugo said coldly. Her mother rushed to the doorway, her hands trembling. Please, what do you want with my daughter? Tell her to stay away from Obinna, Hugo snapped. She has no business with him. If she refuses, then... His eyes swept across their tiny home, lingering on Adiz's little brothers sleeping on a mat. Things might happen that you won't like. Adiz's heart thudded. Her mother gripped her hand tightly. Please leave us, her mother begged. The men turned and walked into the night, leaving a trail of fear behind them. Adiz's chest heaved, tears welling in her eyes. Mama, I swear I didn't mean for this, she whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't ask for him to love me. Her mother pulled her into a trembling embrace. My child, love is not the problem. His world is. And his world is dangerous. The next evening, Obinna found Adiz at the udala tree. She was distant, her hands twisting nervously in her lap. What's wrong? He asked. She hesitated, then whispered everything. The visit, the threat, the fear in her mother's eyes. Obinna's face hardened with fury. How dare they? He stood pacing. This is my father's doing. He wants to scare you away. Obinna, Adiz pleaded, grabbing his hand, maybe we should stop. I can't let my family suffer because of me. I'm not worth this fight. He knelt before her, his eyes fierce. Don't you ever say that again. You're worth everything. They want to break us, Adiz, but they won't. I'll protect you. I swear it. For a moment hope flickered between them again. But above them, in the branches of the udala tree, a figure shifted silently in the dark. One of Chief Okeke's men had followed, and had heard every word. By dawn the news reached Chief Okeke. His face grew darker than the night itself. "If the girl refuses to let go," he said grimly, "then we will make sure she has no choice." The market was alive with its usual noise. Women haggling over yams, goats bleating, children chasing one another through the narrow paths. Yet Adiz felt something strange in the air, a heaviness she couldn't explain. She balanced her basket of oranges as always, her voice calling, "Sweet orange. Come and buy sweet orange." But the laughter of the buyers didn't sound the same. Their eyes lingered on her longer than usual, and not with kindness. "Adiz," one woman muttered as she walked past, "be careful. The wind does not fight a tree unless it plans to uproot it." Adiz froze, but before she could ask what the woman meant, she was gone. That evening as she returned home, she noticed footprints around their compound. Large ones, fresh in the damp earth after the afternoon rain. Her mother hadn't seen them, and her brothers were too young to notice. Adiz's stomach knotted with unease. At night, as they all slept, she woke suddenly to the sound of soft whistling outside their window. She held her breath, clutching her wrapper tightly. The whistling continued for a few moments, then faded into silence. She dared not open the door. By morning she found a single orange placed neatly on their doorstep. It was not from her basket. Someone had left it there. Days passed and the strange happenings only grew. Once she caught sight of a man in a dark cap standing across the market, watching her without buying a single thing. The moment their eyes met, he disappeared into the crowd. Another time she overheard two men whispering by the stream. "Chief says it must look like an accident. But the boy watches her too closely." Their voices dropped as soon as they saw her. Fear gnawed at her, but she told no one, not even Obinna. She didn't want to worry him, not when he was already fighting his parents. But the final straw came one evening. Adiz returned from the market to find their small home door slightly open. Her mother had been out fetching firewood and her brothers were at a neighbor's. Slowly Adiz stepped inside. On the table lay one of her oranges, cut perfectly in half. On the white flesh, a knife had carved a single word: "Leave." Her knees gave way and the basket slipped from her hands. Oranges rolled across the floor, but she couldn't move. Her body shook as cold fear spread through her veins. Someone had been inside their home. Someone wanted her gone. The morning began like any other. Adiz woke early, fetched water from the stream and prepared her basket of oranges. Yet something inside her felt unsettled, like the sky before a storm. Her mother noticed her silence. "Are you well, my child?" she asked gently. Adiz forced a smile. "I'm fine, Mama." But her heart was heavy with the memory of the carved orange that had greeted her days before. She hadn't told anyone. She didn't want to bring more fear into their already fragile home. As she set out to the market, the world seemed unusually quiet. Even the birds in the trees seemed hushed. She pushed the feeling aside and began calling as she walked. "Sweet orange. Come and buy sweet orange." Hours passed, the usual rhythm of trade filling the day. But when the sun began to sink, something odd happened. Adiz's closest friend in the market, Ngozi, later said she saw Adiz speaking to a woman she didn't recognize. A tall woman in a bright yellow wrapper carrying no goods, only a leather bag. The woman had leaned close, whispered something in Adiz's ear, and Adiz's face had changed. Fear. Confusion. The woman then motioned for her to follow. And Adiz did. That evening, when Adiz's mother returned from the firewood bush, she found her daughter's basket of oranges abandoned near the market gate. The oranges lay scattered on the ground as though dropped in haste. But Adiz was nowhere to be found. Panic tore through the family. Neighbors gathered, torches lit, voices rising in alarm. The town searched the market, the stream, the paths leading out of Umyadike. No trace. Only her basket remained. By nightfall, whispers filled the air like restless spirits. Chief Okeke has finally done it. They warned her. Poor girl, who knows where she is now? Obinna heard the news just as he was returning from a visit to a friend. His chest tightened, his heart pounding wildly. He ran to the market, pushing through the crowd, shouting her name. But the only thing he found was one of her oranges, rolling gently on the ground. He picked it up, his hands trembling, his face burning with rage and fear. Somewhere in the shadows, unseen by the crowd, a pair of eyes watched him. Patient. Waiting. Will Ada be found or has she gone forever? Comment your opinion and watch out for part 2.